If you smell what Garage Gym Radio is cooking, then you know you're about to get served with a piping hot slice of the Home Gym podcast. I'm Jason, man who parks in gym, and I'm here with my buddy Mark, better known as Flex Marks the Spot, who had no idea that I was about to bring The Rock into the conversation. But anyway, here we are. We are, what, like 4 months, three and a half months, 4 months, something like that, away
Yeah, I
from
think
Home
it's
GymCon. Yeah,
4.5
I've
yeah.
noticed like a huge ramp up in some of the media footage lately, right? Like I know that this year, or I feel like this year is going to be big. I mean, like they've moved into a bigger space compared to the years past. I know that, before it was in French Lick, which was really, I mean, you could speak on this better than I can, but not too far away, but it was still kind of a jaunt, a little bit more difficult to get to and stuff. This year, it's in Louisville. It's just a couple of minutes away from the airport. I think it's actually like walkable, if I remember, from the airport in Louisville. I know that Jake has already announced that this is the highest number of vendors ever, and also the largest average size booth space compared to the years before. Now, last year, Prime Fitness gave away their entire booth, and then they shipped it for free. Wondering, what's your take, man? I know that, like, I've seen Peter Keller talk about, people need to bring a trailer, make sure that, everybody talks about like these kind of, I know for me, having not been there in the past, it was kind of like seeing all the footage roll in, seeing the like live feed stuff, and then also hearing about all the deals and things like that people were getting, the end of it, in addition to all of the community stuff and getting to know people and everything. So anyway, what's your takeaway, man? You think this year is it going to be something similar? You think maybe other companies might step it up a little bit, or what? What's your prediction on that? And is there a company or a product or something like that you've seen lately that you're most interested or excited to see in person at HomeGymCon?
Yeah, no. So yeah, this year is definitely going to be the biggest one. I'm sure anyone listening to this has probably following the HomeGymCon Instagram account where you can, where you've seen like the little graphic, right, where it shows year one, there was just like a handful of vendors. Year two, it was like double, maybe triple the size. And then now year three, with like 4.5 months to go, it's close to double of last year, if not even more than that. So yeah, it's going to be bigger. I had not heard that the booth sizes were going to be bigger, like on average. So that's actually very underrated aspect that I wasn't aware of. So I mean, there was way more equipment last year than I had a chance to spend time with. Like I more or less, kind of was able to skim by every booth, but kind of going to the ones that I had a little bit more interest in, or like wanted to meet the people there, spending more time like with those and kind of getting like demos and stuff. I did not have enough time to get through everything that I wanted to in the 2.5 days just from last year. So this year, with there going to be more equipment per booth apparently, and now even more vendors. Like I'm actually not even sure what to expect, to be honest with you. Like it was like year one and year two, they were such different events just because of the sheer size difference. And like now, like I feel like the size difference between 2 and 3 it seems like it's going to be even bigger than the size difference between 1 and 2. So yeah, pretty excited there.
I remember talking to you and actually to a couple of others afterward last time about it. And like even thinking about it being bigger, it was like, I remember last year, some of the kind of overlapping feedback that I remember hearing or whatever was about how you just described, you're like, man, there was so much stuff there. Like, I don't even think I got through all of it. I forgot to I went there to get content, record content and stuff, kind of forgot to even do that because I was so kind of like, you kind of feel like it's almost like sensory overload, for lack of a better term, I guess, with all of the different things to kind of see and do and experience, and in what sounds like, I mean, a couple of days sounds like a long time, but it could be, depending on how you spend it. You might be like the Louvre, like you spend all day there and you don't get through all, it takes a couple of times to go back and see everything and really appreciate it.
Right.
Unless,
No, yeah.
If you're somebody who stops and reads the cards, right? If you're like me and you just walk around and look for drinks or whatever. No, I'm just kidding. But But yeah, no. So I'm pretty excited about it. There's a couple of companies, couple of items, stuff that I will never. I mean, man, that's the hard thing about it. It's like sometimes with home gym stuff specifically, if you want to try it, you got to buy it. You know what I mean? And it gets really expensive. And sometimes like it's just the only way. And especially when you have this weird kind of, I don't know. I like to try things that haven't been reviewed by all the major
Yeah,
reviewers and stuff. And so this will be a pretty good for me, I think. Anyway, it'll be pretty exciting to be able to get kind of my hands and eyes on things that maybe I wouldn't have even seen otherwise and
right.
stuff.
No,
So,
yeah, and
um,
you asked earlier, like I mean, which I didn't answer, like what I was most excited for, and similar to like what you said, it's like not necessarily anything. Like I guess I don't really know. I'm not excited for anything in particular because everything that I've seen so far, it's like stuff that I feel like I kind of more or less have a general grasp on, right? Like at least from unless like companies are bringing unreleased, completely brand new unreleased products, like obviously like that would be cool to kind of test out firsthand, just like the Titan Fitness like leg extension leg curl machine that they're just about to drop now, but they actually took their like one of their prototypes to HomeGymCon last year, so like seeing that there, that was cool. But what I'm most excited for is just to find out like and try equipment from companies that like I've never heard of or like never used anything from. So like ATX, like I sound like a
yeah,
broken record at this point, um like their booth, like obviously like I had heard of ATX, I had seen their stuff online, and I kind of like had a sense that maybe they were kind of like power tech type equipment. That's kind of what my general sentiment was on them beforehand. But after trying their stuff and like going to their booth and like using their stuff firsthand, I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is actually like pretty pretty high quality stuff. It's not like super overbuilt, like where it's like the rogue Sorinex type stuff, but it was like very well built, like compact pieces, and it was like the total opposite of like what all the other like manufacturers were trying to do. And I mean, I think that's why they were so highly regarded, from
yeah,
everyone who went last year. So I don't know if there's going to be another like ATX, vendor like that, that just comes and surprises everyone. But I mean, maybe there is, and if there is, I think that's what I'm most excited for is just finding out about those unknowns.
yeah. ATX is one that has been on the radar for the home gym stuff, and I know that they brought last year, and they talked about um, distributing in the U.S. and stuff like that in the future. So, but you're right, that one did kind of blew everybody's minds. I'm kind of looking at. I want to try some of the stuff from Temple of Gains. They're one that's been
Right.
kind of like I see people share them a lot. They look like they could be a good blend of like, for those who are leaning more into the commercial gym type machines and
Right.
stuff in their home gyms, they look like they could be a good compromise, I guess, between your extremely high end and something that is formidable. So I'm interested in trying some of that. I hope there are some other companies that will be bringing some of that. I'd like to try. I want to try. I know. They were just talking about this on the Do You Even Lift Bro podcast, where they were talking about leg press, hack squat combo versus the
Pendulum.
um, pendulum squats or whatever. And I would like to try some of those ones that I see that are a little bit lower price and stuff. I know Prime is about to release theirs. They just teased it again a couple of days ago. Um, I don't know. Most of my financial decisions in home gym has been built by FOMO, so I don't know if I ever will actually. I would have to move something out in order to do it, and of course, if I were to replace it with like a pendulum, it would be. I mean, if I were to replace anything with a pendulum or another machine or something, it would have to be the leg press that goes first because that leg extension, leg curl, it just
Yeah.
gets too much love. But um,
No,
but yeah,
yeah.
so that kind of
I'm
stuff
not
I'm
looking
pretty
forward.
excited for.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to trying out like Temple of Gains stuff at all. Because I don't have space for any of that, and I just like you,
Yeah,
I do get that bad FOMO. That's how I
right.
ended up with the Squat Max was Home Gym Con year one. I'd
Yeah,
never even really considered it. I'd like saw it, but I was always like, like oh, the Rhino's better, and was always in that camp. But then after trying out the Squat Max at HomeGymCon, I was like, wow, this feels like, to me, again,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of people who've tried both and prefer the Rhino, but for me, I love the way the Squat Max felt, and trying it in person was enough for me to, put
Yeah.
that at the very top of my
Right.
list of equipment that I probably shouldn't have bought, but ended up buying. In pendulum squat from Temple of Gains is
Yeah, it would be
looking really,
one of
yeah,
those things that
it's
could
looking really
also
tempting as it
it
is, but I haven't
yeah,
tried it, so it's like,
right. I
yeah,
know, I know, I know. And a lot of it for me is like I just want to be able to like speak to it from personal experience, even if it's not a like a FOMO thing for myself or whatever. I do want to be able to like when someone says the Arsenal is the best or the um shit the Atlantis Pro or something like that is it's like 15 grand or something like that. Like I just want to know how it feels comparatively and stuff. Like what are your? I mean, is it you know is it gonna shift and rock and stuff like that? Like or is
right.
it going to be a solid square body type thing or
Oh
whatever?
yeah,
But
yeah, and like even the Rogue functional trainers, like they had those there like before they launched, and got to try out the
right,
double trigger trolleys, and being someone who tried that firsthand. I mean, like I guess I already had the Aries, so I wasn't really in the market for one. But
right,
if I didn't have a cable system, I probably wouldn't have thought twice about that. But if I hadn't gone to Home Gym Con, but going and trying that out, like that would have been something that I would have noticed and been like, oh yeah, this feels kind of awkward to move up and down the upright, at least in comparison to like a commercial unit, like, or like a
right. Hmm.
single hand adjustment unit, so like things like that. So I mean, like that's a lot of like the smaller, like underrated reasons, like that, make the going to Home Gym Con, worthwhile, because you get a lot of those little insights that you don't really think about on a lot of things, but may come up later on, like later on the year when something comes out, and you have another reference point there that you can kind of lean back on.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited. Sounds like you're excited. I went
Mhm.
ahead and I mean I still haven't even like I'm like 90% going. There's a good possibility that my brother may be in town, and if so, I'm gonna have to call an audible. But I went ahead, I bought my ticket, I went ahead and upgraded to the premium or
VIP,
pro
yeah,
VIP, whatever
VIP,
it's called.
which
Yeah.
just went on sale this weekend.
Yeah, just
So
went on
if
sale this
Mhm.
weekend. I went ahead and did that because I was like, if I do end up going, now I feel like I'm a little bit more invested. If I do end up going, I'm probably gonna want that. I know just knowing me, I'm probably gonna want that. So I went ahead and did that. If not, I mean, it's my expenses, my losses are minimal. I mean, I've lost more money trying a piece of gym equipment and it selling it or whatever than what I have invested in this so far. So.
Yeah, and the VIP package there, like I'm trying to pull that up now. So basically, you you get early access. So like, let me know if I'm missing anything here, but like you get early access into the event. So like I said, last year I didn't have enough time to go spend as much time on in every booth that I wanted to. So I think those extra 2 hours in on both days are going to be helpful there. So you get that. You get like a t-shirt, you get a drawstring bag, so nice, cool little added perks there. And then last year's little drawstring bag, it was like a goodie bag. So there was a bunch of like stickers from like vendors and stuff, which is cool. But then also they had a couple of other like little like accessory pieces, so like what's that one, like the bear massage, I forget the exact name. Like it's like a little massage tool, right? Like they had some of those in there that like mount to your rack.
The
They
rabbit. Is it
Yeah,
called the rabbit?
I'm probably I don't even remember. I'm trying to blank right now. Like another like little phone mount, like a magnetic one that you can put on your rack. So
Oh,
there were
that's
there were like,
cool.
yeah, little things like that they had thrown in there also. So like those
Right.
were cool. Some little discount vouchers on top of that. So they're like, hey, like for the VIP package, show this voucher or use this voucher to purchase something online. Because you're VIP purchaser, so you get an extra little discount at this company, and things like that. So they had that last year. I'm guessing they'll probably do something like that this year. They also have this year, like I guess you can be entered into special giveaways, which who knows if that's maybe what some of the companies are doing with their equipment now, like
Oh, cool.
so
Yeah,
that could
yeah,
be part
yeah.
of that. And then
Awesome.
lastly, they're going to have an awards ceremony type thing, I guess, after night two, where they give the awards for like best booth, like rookie of the year and like whatever other awards that they come up with this year. I don't know if they're going to be the same ones as last year, so I'm not going to
Right.
really say what those are.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't even remember like all of them from last year, to be honest. But yeah, so that's cool. It comes with a couple of drink passes, things like that, for that award ceremony. But then on top of that, I think the big thing is like if you're interested in kind of being in the space like as a content creator, an inventor, someone who wants to collaborate, or like someone who like might want to like go talk to um some of these equipment company owners, like designers and things like that. That's a different area where you might be able to like rub shoulders with them there, or like talk to them a little bit more like in a more casual environment. So the networking aspect of things, I think that's pretty big there, for that awards ceremony dinner thing, for the VIP package. So just another thing there. But if you are um, interested in purchasing the VIP package, or if you're just trying to buy just the base set of tickets to begin with, use a code home gym podcast for a little discount. So shameless plug there.
Yeah. I wonder if anybody, I think about this stuff, like sometimes, content creation, doing any sort of like, when you criticize something, someone or a company or a product or a this or that or whatever, you kind of run the risk of like, man, am I going to go here to this, exclusive award ceremony and happy hour thing and get punched in the mouth by, the guy from Belt Fed because I made a comment about his leather strap not meeting my expectations or
Oh,
something. Not Chris.
yeah,
I know. I
yeah.
use
I'll
that
I'll
because
tell
he's the
you,
one that's not going to punch me in the
Chris of
face.
anyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was probably like the person that I was surprised that like was the nicest person that I had,
Really?
like the nicest
He
person ever.
no. I mean, I wouldn't surprise me. He
Yeah,
strikes me as
right. Like
just a
he
genuinely good person.
yeah, he didn't
So
come off like not nice initially, but
and
like
I'm saying
it's
this so that you don't punch me in the face
face. Yeah, but
when I
that like
see you, Chris.
in in support of like the little after hours, award ceremony thing, that's where I met Chris, was after the convention, last year at French Lick, they had a little casino at the hotel where the convention was. So um, you know, being able to talk to him there. I didn't really even talk to him much at his booth, to be honest, during the day, but after
Yeah.
hours got to talk with him, and I'd say, had some pretty good conversations with him over the course of like the 2 nights there. So, that was a really beneficial thing. But then also to your point, if you say something negative and you I guess obviously, like you're not just bashing it for no reason, but like me, I've been a little critical of like a lot of Bells of Steel products in the past. And when I went to the Bells of Steel's booth, like I mean, not that I was uncomfortable with anything, because like I mean, everything that I had said about the products I wasn't crazy about, like they were just my opinions on them, right? And like as soon as I walked over there, like Kayvon actually like walked right up to me and introduced himself, and like was like actually like really really friendly also, and was like, hey man, like hey, go to our booth, we'll even get you a shirt, and everything. So that was really cool. Also, I actually did not get a shirt. I didn't take him up on that offer. I forgot to go do that. So Kayvon, you owe me 2 shirts now for
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no,
You
I mean
know, that
I'd say like
it,
as long as you're not like bashing something just to bash it, I'd say most of these companies, they do appreciate the valuable feedback that they're getting from the community.
I think about that sometimes. Like, well, like recently with Prime and the Smart Arm, there was some. There were a few people sharing their initial impressions and things like that, and there were some people who felt like by not mentioning stuff like, for example, the third weight horn thing, sometimes, man, we run through, you get something, you open it up and you use it and you just don't notice those things right away. Or maybe the issue doesn't apply to you or something like that. You just hadn't, whatever. So I'm not suggesting that anybody is being facetious or deceitful or anything like that. But that there was a moment there with that, where, like, um, me and another guy had mentioned some of the issues that we ran into with using the smart arm and stuff. And it's kind of what led to them halting shipment on new ones and kind of taking it back to the drawing board
Oh,
to
did they?
revamp what they're doing. And that's kind of where they're at right now, which is awesome. You know what I mean? It's one of those things like I've worked for, before going into federal service, I did work for companies and stuff, and that was kind of like when I worked for like large corporations, AT&T and stuff. That was always kind of our motto. It was like, we'll get it right or we'll make it right, and that's kind of what all you can really. I mean, it's the best, second best scenario,
Hmm.
right? Is for them to listen, take the feedback, make the adjustments, correct it, and that kind of a thing. So as far as that stuff goes, I mean, they've been doing really good with that. But my point that I'm trying to get to, it can be very difficult sometimes, whether if it's as an affiliate or not, right? If you're not an affiliate, to give those kind of criticisms, and say that this thing's not cutting it and stuff, because as an affiliate, you worry, I'm going to piss off this company, right? I don't particularly. I to me, the only affiliation I have is with Prime, right? I don't get paid by Prime. Like, they don't pay me to make videos. They don't ask me to make content. They don't, I don't communicate with them outside of it. Before this, I have very little communication with them ever. I mean, if I ever had something, I just email customer service, and usually it's one of two people that responded to me, or whatever. But for me, the way I see it is like, as an affiliate, when I get paid, it is when you use my code, right? Therefore, my loyalties lie with the person who might be using my code. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so I owe it to you, who I'm asking to use my code, to tell you the bottom line of what I found on it. And I think I just went stone cold Steve Austin with the bottom line, after I don't know, I haven't been watching WWF or anything like that lately, or WCW or any of the other W's, but for whatever reason, I just went there. But um, my point in that is that for me, it's really easy with Prime or whatever, whenever I have this affiliation, because like I said, I feel like I'm obligated to tell you. But it is a difficult moment when you have this and you're like, how am I going to do this tactfully? I like to try to have like a solution, in mind, if I can, like, here's a problem and this is why the problem exists and here's how you can solve it, kind of a thing. But I am glad that with that one, because like my first with the third weight horn plates, even a 25 hitting when you're doing like bicep curls or whatever, to me, like, yes, you could put collars or something like that to space the plates out, and it's probably not going to be that big of a deal once you're probably. But to me, you shouldn't have to, like, you shouldn't buy something new, have to hack it to make it work and that kind of a thing. So I am
Right,
really
like
glad that
premium
they.
products, especially.
Yeah, well, for sure, yeah. And especially when it's only supposed to. I mean, they're only advertising it to do a few movements. All in all, it's not like the bulletproof, right, where it's like the end all be all rack attachment that does everything that can possibly be done on a single pivot point or whatever. Um, they're really only advertising a few things. So that's something else that I've kind of run into, like, since I've spent a little bit more time with it. There are a couple of things that I'm like, man, this kind of sucks. Like, this particular movement kind of sucks, or whenever I do it this way, it causes it to bind at the top or something like that. And I'm like, I have to keep reminding myself, like, I'm really using this like beyond its function, right? Like, and that's what people are going to do. So whenever I do whenever I do a big follow up, once we've got like the new parts or whatever it is that they're creating now to address issue number one, that's just kind of things that I'm working through as I go through it and stuff. But it is hard, and it's also hard. I feel like in this space, in the content creation space, it is hard to do that sometimes it's one thing when you have an affiliation with this company and it's a larger company, or it's a premium company, it's a niche company and stuff, but it's hard to do for like smaller, like I just said, like with Chris, and I like backed up real fast and I was like, I'm just joking. His leather work is phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like I've got a few pieces of it. I wouldn't keep buying it if it weren't. Maybe Kabuki, they're maybe the exception. No, their stuff was good. It was really good stuff. It was good stuff. It was the customer service at the time that sucked mostly. But uh, you know what I'm saying? It's like with the smaller companies, sometimes you're like, man, I feel like I don't even want to talk about it at all because if I don't have something good to say, then I look like I'm just bashing this little guy. Like I don't want to help him out. But if I don't say that, this sucks or that sucks or this should be done this way or better or something like that, then am I doing my audience their due diligence? You know what I mean? Like the people that I said, you're who my loyalty is with, right? The people that stand to use my code or whatever, and so I don't know. It's kind of one of those double-edged sword things. I don't really know how I got off on this tangent or what I'm talking about. But the Smart Arm update, they are working on that. And again, I have no reservations with pointing out the things that are bad or wrong or whatever. And I think anybody should do that, especially if you're going to have a code that you're going to ask people to use or a link or whatever. Like that is your obligation in that space. But
Yeah, and
but anyway,
just to kind of add to that also, and I think some of that, some of those lines and like loyalties get blurred a little bit when you start getting when you get to the point like where some of these companies start giving you free equipment also, and you're kind of relying on that to be like a like your source of like making a living, right?
right,
So, I mean, I know it's like for us, like who we just kind of do this on the side. We have our regular 9 to 5, and then we do content as we can as it fits into our schedule.
right,
Some of these other people, that get a lot of this criticism for being overly biased towards companies or overly positive. Which I'm not saying that's not the case, but when you are, relying on these affiliate links and codes, for like to basically, survive, then that's when some of those lines, might be a little bit blurred and your loyalties might lie a little bit more with, with those companies giving you that free stuff and, ultimately, try not to be overly critical for that reason. So you're not having
yeah,
to invest financially.
yeah. I can't speak to that. I don't. I'm not there. I've never. I've even the Smart Arm. I didn't. That didn't. None of that was. That none of that was free or comped or anything like that. I'm just a dude that is going through it like you would be, and
Right.
so
No, yeah. And
but
I mean,
yeah,
I guess I
I
was
know you're not talking
trying
about
to,
me. You're talking about
no,
the
yeah.
people with the bigger audience.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I'm not defending, people being like overly positive and everything
right.
like
You
that.
just it's how it
Yeah.
shapes your mind, right? Like
Yeah.
when you have it is you can argue, total honesty, unbiased, blah blah. I mean, we all have a bias, right? Like we all like you're going to pick and choose whatever that bias may be. Whether if it's I'm biased toward a company that's going to pay me to do a review, or I'm biased toward a company that makes items in the U.S. or whatever it may be. Like everybody has their own personal biases, even in what you like, right? Like you might prefer knurled grips and knobs on every single thing. Somebody else might have a bias toward plastic. You know what I mean? Like stickers versus laser cut or laser etched or whatever it may be. There's just inherent biases that we have that people will always kind of, that's where they're going into their review process with and that kind of stuff. I think that's what we're saying. But anyway,
Yeah.
man, one of the things I saw this week, and I don't know, tell me, am I like Chris Columbus here? This is me like discovering something that has been in existence for 1,000 years? But I saw that I saw two things this week. I saw a stainless steel rack, like the PR5K or something like that. Is that something that's been out forever? Is that new? Because, dude,
No, yeah,
the thing looks sweet.
it's not out yet. At least maybe you are Christopher Columbus if it is out because I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
But no, they teased it. I want to say probably close to a year ago, if not uh,
Okay.
a little bit more. At FIBO or something like that. They or one of those conventions. I'm not sure which one, but they had stainless uprights, and I think they first showed up in a Garage Gym Reviews video. Like when he visited like one of the booths somewhere.
So
Um,
did I just oust myself as one of those creeps that like sifting through old posts or something? It just showed up on
no,
my
no,
feed,
no, no,
but
no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's where that's where like it was kind of initially teased that they were working on that, and then like they kind of have been radio silent on it for a while, just basically saying they're trying to you know refine the factory process or trying to stuff with their factories where
yeah.
they're not able to get it just right. Like they've been hinting at or like replying like that to people in comments who've been asking about it. But then recently, I mean, probably within the last week or two, Ryan, the owner, the
Hmm.
co-owner,
Yeah.
he put the stainless uprights on his personal Instagram as kind of like a little tease.
Okay. That's probably what I
So
saw.
so that's why it's back on the
Okay. All right. All right. Back
in
on
the
the
news
radar.
cycle. Yeah. So and apparently they're really close. So I
Okay.
mean
Nice.
anyone waiting on those, yeah, like they do look sweet. Or
I've
if you
only
want to
seen
just buy
so
knockoffs,
like
you can do those on Alibaba.
Don Lamb, I can't think of what his name is on Instagram or whatever. DIY body, home gym, I don't know. He has the stainless Rogue monster rack, and
Yeah,
it's always like anytime you see like the ad, like the Rogue ad, whatever, that's his, and
it's
it's
his.
pretty sweet, dude. Yeah, it looks great. I don't know how it holds up over time and stuff, but I guess if you have that one and it gets scratched during normal use, you have my blessing to complain about that. But nah, I still think I with that one it looks really cool. I also saw that Rep teased a new Smith machine attachment. Said I did see that
Hmm.
that one said they were still working out some kinks or whatever, we're not quite ready, but one is coming. So, what are you thinking about that, man? Are you gonna will it? Do you know? Will it go on the Aries 1.0? And if so, is that something that you're interested in?
I actually, yeah, I am interested in it. I'm just interested in adding a Smith machine type
In general? Yeah.
attachment in general. So, I mean, I'm not in any hurry. Otherwise, I would have probably picked up the VTS by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know specifically I don't have any insider information as to how it's going to fit onto a rack, like if it's going to retrofit, with like
Yeah.
the Aries 1.0 or how it's going to. I'd imagine it's going to be something similar to like what Bells of Steel is doing, where it's going to be like just kind of this extra, like it's not going to like be its own little upright. It's probably just going to be
Yeah.
like the
Add on
Smith
to,
column, yeah, that you can put it inside of the uprights
right.
in between them or something.
So the drawback for me on those things is that you have to have a pair of uprights like extra, right? Like you're going to lose full functionality of a whole entire pair of uprights when you add that on there.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's fine because whenever I had like a 6 post rack, I had extra uprights. Like I didn't really need all those. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I made use of them by adding in the other stuff. Like I had levers on one side, and then I also had the uh that thing called the slinger, two
Yeah.
rogue slingers or whatever. Like I feel like I made use of those because I had the extra uprights or whatever. But I guess though maybe it's not a huge drawback for those that have the giant 6 post racks or whatever. On a 4 post, I guess you could still get away with it on a 4 post. If you face them outward or whatever, and then just use the inside other two for stuff. Yeah, I guess it's not that big of it. I'm just thinking through. For me, on a half rack or whatever, the VTS light is nice because I can move it out of the way and I still have my uprights, right? Like I'm not losing those.
Yeah.
I only lose the top couple of inches or whatever, which is not that
Mhm.
big of a deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, depending on how rep shapes out, that might be the one I go for. Like at this
Yeah,
point, I think I'm probably going to remove my Aries from like my main rack and just kind of put the Aries as its own little standalone cable machine, and that
Yeah.
kind of doubles as it'll be the 4-post Aries that might double as an extra rack if I need it for
Yeah.
do like some sort of superset. But then on my main rack, like maybe I'll throw the Smith machine like on the back or something like that, or who knows. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of to the point like where with my regular rack, I'm just kind of over having to, which again, the Aries 1.0, it's not super intrusive, for what it is, like it does a pretty good job um, implementing into the rack in a semi non-intrusive way, right? But you still have like with any add-on, any attachment that like lives on your rack, you're gonna have to work around it in
Yeah.
some capacity, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You got to move the
So
trolley out of
yeah,
the way. If you're, yeah.
it,
Sometimes you put
yeah,
something on, you're like, shit, I got to move that up to the other side or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, I have an 80 post rack, so I don't have extra height to work with on those front uprights. So it's like, like if I have to have the trolley like at the very like the trolleys are always up at the very top if I'm working outside of the rack, and sometimes the plates will bump against the handles and things like that. So
Oh, okay.
I just kind of want to have just a clean rack with like
Yeah.
no like with nothing on it, like so I even the thought of adding like the VTS or a Smith machine on that, like I'm just kind of like I'd rather
Yeah.
just kind of maybe put that maybe with like Aries rack or something and just have that be the all in
For
one
sure.
attachment rack, and then having a separate just rack for just
Yeah.
straight up lifting. But
That
who
would be
knows,
cool.
we'll see. But I mean, who knows, like maybe I'll just buy a cheap Smith machine, like a little or a little 2-post squat stand one or something like that, just for something. But I don't know. I'm not too. I'm not in a hurry to get a Smith machine. So depending on how reps turns out, like we'll see. One thing I do want is for it to have the ability to use specialty bars, like or like even like
Hmm.
bring your own bar on it, because like with the VTS, like um, I don't know if you get a bunch of those ads on your feed, where they start showing all of the advertisements, or all of the like the video montages of like people who've bought it, using all these like crazy specialty bars or doing all of these um, really cool looking movements, I mean, like
Yeah.
that would be really cool if the Rep one has that ability. Otherwise, it seems like the VTS is still going to be the clear uh, it had the clear advantage in that regard.
So the VTS, I have the VTS Lite. The VTS is much larger than the VTS Lite, and I don't know. I know that I did see that Gluck recently did a review on those with the Rohrman strength handles. I mean, that's what I saw was the Rohrman strength handles on those. I don't know if he did a review on the VTS or not, but I did see that Rory had shared a snippet. So I know that there is some content out there of someone using those on that. Now with the VTS Lite, I have tried putting specialty bars on it, and the issue that I keep running into, and there's probably some, like you could probably use an axle bar, like that does come with like the extra hooks with the larger diameter thing. But the problem that I had with like with the Rogue MG, I have the Rogue MGF 4N or whatever, the cambered narrow one, the one that came as a result of everybody complaining about the one being too wide. Um, it has like the 1 inch or like like the little skinny things down there. So the standard size hooks don't work on that. The latches or whatever don't really work with that. But you can use it anyway and just not hook it. You know what I mean? Like you just have to do like the very original idea, which was start at the bottom and keep yourself in that way or whatever, but keep yourself alive in that way, which is not that big of a deal. But the thing about it is that you don't have like it can't spin all the way around or anything like that. You are kind of locked in because the frame of it will hit the VTS Lite itself. And then the same thing, the Kabuki, I tried that one. You can get it, but it's just the frame of the Cadillac bar will hit some of the stuff on the VTS Lite itself. So I would imagine, I mean, I'm probably wrong. I'm probably shouldn't say anything. I'm probably going to say something inaccurate, and it's, probably going to piss somebody off or something. But it's possible that a lot of those specialty bars like that might interfere, with the actual. I mean, I would imagine with the VTS being even bigger than the VTS Lite, but maybe not. Maybe it's designed in a way that all that shit has clearance or
Yeah,
something. You know what I mean? But
I think it might be. Um, I just know like a lot of those uh videos that they showed in the ad, like a lot of those originated, from people in the Discord,
oh, cool.
like the Home Gym Discord. I
Using
know
yeah, yeah.
yeah, they're pretty big on the VTS there. So
Yeah,
they're
I would have gotten that one if it didn't take up so much space on but my
uh,
uprights are, like I said, I'm sure, like you said, mentioned earlier, you're using them with the trolleys and all that stuff on it.
yeah. Yeah,
I
speaking of like the VTS, like and using it with trolleys and things like that. Have you seen like people like using those like on jammer arms? Like some of those are pretty
yeah.
cool.
So that was like when I first saw that. That was one of the first things that came to my mind was like, dude, if I had still had those jammer arms, I would totally use that, and you know what I mean. That's what I would want them for. And I've got a buddy that has been toying with the idea, but he's in Canada. It's even harder for him to get shit. Costs a lot more and all that. But yeah, I've seen that. It's pretty sweet. That's a great way to like. That was one of the things, especially with like jammer arms with the Vendetta adapters or the Vendetta style. Yeah, that they all have the indexed stops or whatever on them. I mean, that's one of the things that I like with some Smith machines. They'll be at like a 7-degree angle or whatever, and some of them are straight up and down or whatever. And with this one, you don't get the option to kind of angle it at any way. And I feel like with that, I mean, you would have, especially if you had like the longer lever arms or something like that, you have the option, to really do some cool kind of hack squat type stuff and
Yeah.
whatever else. But
Yeah, so some of the cool ones I've seen are there was one guy who he had like the Crandall lever arms, which completely a complete side note to this is like I guess there's for people who are missing the home gym drama that we talked about a while back with like companies people ripping stuff off. Like apparently there's some drama with all that stuff too, but I won't go into that. But anyway,
with Crandall,
Crandall and the Bulletproof. I was reading through that
oh,
on Facebook a couple days ago. Like it was some really long comments, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this it's a lot of I did a lot of reading here. Anyway, yeah, I don't want to go down that, but
okay,
basically, like, yeah, I
right,
don't know why I brought that up. Anyways, it was like the Crandall lever arms, like, so I guess they had the VTS like on them, but then like this guy like had it so that these like the lever arms like folded away or something like that. So he was able to use his front uprights um, without any, obstructions. So it was like really cool the way he did that. That one I saw that one a while ago. So I don't even remember who it was, but it was someone on the Facebook group. But yeah, it was really cool how it just folded, like everything just folded away. So he got his front uprights back. He didn't have to worry about, having all this stuff up there. And it was
yeah,
because of how the Crandall arms like fold back. But
right,
then what else was there? Then there was someone else that I think I saw this past weekend. He had the long Rogue jammer arms, and I guess what he does is he takes the VTS off of his jammer arms like each time he uses them, and he like puts them back on and removes them each use. So I guess with the rollers and everything, they work well enough, and he doesn't have to retighten them from what it looked like.
yeah,
So the fact that he was able to use them that way with the jammer arms, and able to not have them live on the rack and take up extra space, was really cool also. So
that is
just
cool.
some really cool stuff. And then on top of that, Larry started he was sharing some of his concepts like he has with his future jammer arms like integrated with the VTS, like that are like, so these jammer arms like are inside of the rack, and the way they're like connected at the top and the bottom of the rack or something like that, like made it so that you could set up like a hack squat, like in theory, like with that, and it would work just like a hack squat, but then you can also do all the other stuff too. So obviously all of those were just renderings and like drawing. So who knows how far out those are, but just kind of you know shows like a lot of the cool stuff that's on the horizon there.
Yeah, yeah, man. Speaking of renderings and things like that, so it seems like no matter how much time I spend trying to master the algorithms, I will never not be amazed and equally freaked out whenever I experience that phenomenon, like whenever you talk about something out loud or whatever, a day or two later, it's right there in your feed, in your face. So since we talked about, on the last one, we talked about lateral raise machines, um, I've been getting blown up with those everywhere, like whether if it's like, I don't know, the Revolt, or there's another one from, I don't know, it's like I don't know. Anyway, I've been getting they all over my face. I did notice there's one of them from another company in particular called Olympian Frontiers. I think that it's a company, and it's hard to tell. Everything looks like everything on their site or their page or whatever, and it's pretty limited. Kind of looks almost like a bot page, but it looks like an AI render a little bit. But the stuff that I've seen on it looks pretty cool. I don't know. Have you heard of that company? Do you know anything about them? Is it?
Yeah. I mean, no, I don't know too much about them. I've heard of them. I think they just randomly showed up on my Instagram feed one day, and I followed them, and now I see some of their stuff pop up on my feed from time to time. But other than that, I don't know of anyone who actually has any of their equipment or
Yeah, nothing about it.
yeah. So I don't have any more information than you do, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was just one of those that I had, like I said, it's been showing up on there. They had some handles that looked kind of cool. Their lateral raise thing looks kind of neat. It's got, of course, like the head pad and all that kind of stuff on it, like some of them do. But anyway, I don't know. I didn't know if it was like a scam site or what.
Might be. I mean, if anyone
Yeah,
knows, let us know in the comments if
yeah.
if
If
there
you've
is any updated info.
seen anything on them. But another thing, so we talked last time, our last episode was, we ended it with a video that Peter Keller had done back in December about tariffs. Now, I mean, even still, tariffs are like the last couple of weeks or whatever have been ramping up and stuff, I guess, because it's a little bit more relevant in the media and stuff lately. I know there was an email that went out from Fringe that was kind of like, his thing is to send out a message to his customers and stuff and kind of let them know, hey, this is what's happening. I mean, you can take it however you want to, right? Whether if it's like somebody wants to think of that as like a, fear mongering scare tactic to get you to buy stuff now, or if it is just transparent clarity that, hey, this is happening and this is going to happen. Do what you want to with the information, kind of a thing. I seeing his interactions and his engagement in the community and things like that, I do trust that his intentions are pure and good and everything. I do feel that way about him. He doesn't have to jump on and do all this stuff. But I did see that they had posted that email. Somebody had posted a picture of that email or whatever. And I feel like maybe the most disheartening thing about it or whatever were the comments to me. And again, I know I joked around about calling the guy daddy in the last episode or whatever. It's got nothing to do with that stuff. I just feel like, man, this is a dude. He's a CEO of a company. He's been very open and he's been transparent on the topic. He back in December had posted a video about this same concept, about what was going to happen, about how it would happen, and what it would look like and things like that. I mean, he did, like I said, he did a whole masterclass on it, right? I don't know. I just feel like he's like the only guy that would come in and actively seeks opportunities to offer special discounts and deals, correct service issues and things like that might come up, and somehow people will still jump in there and accuse him of gouging and stuff like that. But anyway, again,
Really,
went off on it.
yeah. The comments you saw were not like
Comments
positive.
in response to the email. Yes. Now,
Oh, okay.
video
The
that he
follow-up
posted,
video he did.
he because of that, I think he did a follow-up video again to like in the group.
Okay.
And he was like, I just want to address this and tell you how, you know what I mean? Like basically he was going in at first and kind of, replying to some of the replies, whatever, to kind of explain his position. And I think that got probably over. I mean, it had, whenever I stopped like refreshing it, it had over 200 comments. And a lot of it was people just saying like, these tariffs haven't even hit yet. They're just taking advantage of the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And he was trying to address that like one at a time. And I think he was just like, you know what, man, I'm just going to make a video, post it. Anybody that cares can see it, and I can have my day back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. I saw the post with the email, and yeah, those comments, like, again, that comment section was pretty toxic with people going back and forth. And honestly, like the home gym page, or like the Facebook page in general, just is
Facebook
is kind of wild right now. But
Facebook is one of those places. I feel like
I guess it's Facebook
platform. Yeah, it's the platform. It's the algorithm. It's different. It really is a place where people go and argue to the death over their opinions. You know what I mean? Like, and then they'll argue with a meme or whatever. And I don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? I'm just as guilty as the next guy is. I'm sure that after somebody listens to this, they'll find half a dozen scenarios where I've participated or engaged or even started the fire or something. I don't know. Who cares? But it is a place where people do that, man. They post an opinion, and then people come in and argue their opinion on it. And it just kind of breeds that. Like, I feel like the algorithms in any of these things, that is one way to really get your engagement up, right? Is to get people to fight in the comments, which I think is the gross part of social media in general. I mean, it's not even like, this isn't, when I say this is what I don't like about, it's not the home gym community. It's not the people in the community. It's just people and what social media brings out in people, right? Like, it can make us, under the veil of anonymity or just behind our little profile or whatever, we have a tendency to say things that we wouldn't say to your face or whatever. And it just really kind of comes out with some ugly stuff. And that part of it, is disheartening, I guess. But I thought it was cool. He did also with the tariffs and stuff, he did an updated or new masterclass on that. And even him and dude from Gorilla, I can't think what his name, man, I suck with names. I can tell you what his face looks like. I can tell you what his logo looks like and what products he's made. Gorilla, what's his name? He was on the home gym show.
I know you're talking about, but I can't think of his name either.
On Friday. It was a really cool episode. So you should check that one out if you haven't. But again, it was about tariffs and manufacturing home gym equipment and stuff like that. So
and I guess, like, to kind of just wrap up the point before, it was like, the initial like post with the email, the comments there like were pretty bad, but from what I saw, the follow-up video that Peter had, where he kind of explained everything, he gave the rationale, and he just laid everything out, and which, I mean, I in a way he didn't have to, but just added a lot of extra context. All the comments that I saw on that post were the complete opposite, at least, from when I looked at it.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay. Yeah. So I think that's part of it too, is like, obviously you get that email, prices are going up, and then like there's the buzzword tariffs, right? And then everyone has an opinion on that, one way or the other. And that's kind of what led to that a lot of that toxic commentary. And then once they had the facts from Peter and about his specific situation with Fringe, then everyone seemed to, kind of, understand. And it was a lot more of a civil discussion there too. So
for sure. Yeah, it is. I mean, again, I don't know if it's Facebook or not. It might just be Facebook.
It might be, because I only ever get on Facebook for that page. Like, if it wasn't for that group, for that
purpose.
If it wasn't for this group in Marketplace, I would not be on Facebook. So all of my interactions are just from that.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, Joey Echeverria pointed this out after our last one, that for whatever reason you mentioned the word tariff, and somehow it just gets really political in there. It's just like it's just like a political debate somehow, even though there's nothing particularly political about tax.
So just anyone who's this far into this episode, leave your opinion on tariffs in the comments. Let's boost this on the
Yeah, let's
algorithm.
fight. Yeah, let's fight. But yeah, no, I do think that's cool, and I think that's again kind of a testament. And other companies, man, Rogue, whatever, their prices will go up. Whether
Well,
it's
yeah,
due to
and yeah,
tariffs or not or
with the
whatever, but
functional trainer, yeah,
you're
like
not going to get you're not going to get Bill Henniger posting videos in the comments to explain his position on the email that he
yeah,
sent out. It
yeah,
just doesn't
and that
happen,
was
man.
and like that's the thing. Like people were upset with Fringe for raising the prices, right? Like because of because of the tariffs, But then also Rogue, they had their functional trainer that was out, and then what was it, like 2-3 months down the line, they raised the price like of like just the base unit or something, like just like $400 without any word or announcement, just basically like overnight. So it's like, okay, like what would you rather have? Would you rather have a little bit of a heads up so that if you were eyeballing something, you have an opportunity to get it at that price, or would you rather just have the companies, raise the prices and just kind of have you guys live with it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think option B. I'd rather them just raise the price without my knowledge. That way I don't feel pressure to buy it when I'm not ready. I'm just
That's
kidding.
another good point.
No, that was the flip coin. That's the flip side, right? You're either going to feel pressure to buy it when you may not be ready, or you're going to regret not buying it sooner. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's not a win there unless you just, and it is whatever it is. But, all right. What else we got, man? You got a haircut.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
It's 56 minutes in, and I'm finally
Yeah.
acknowledging the haircut. I didn't know, sometimes we do, like the other day, about a week and a half ago or a week ago or so, I like shaved my face and I got a little bit closer than what I normally would. I don't think my kids have ever seen me without at least like a good shadow on my chin area. I got a really weak chin. And so like when I shave, it's like the most vulnerable moment, until the couple of days when it kind of grows back out or whatever. And so I didn't know where you were. I want to be like, oh, look at your haircut. And then you'd be like, man, I'm really, like, it's like you're feeling
No,
vulnerable.
yeah.
But
No, yeah. I mean, I've been wanting to cut it for like a year already. I was in for my normal little trim and basically just said, yeah, I'll probably buzz it here, in another month or two. And they're just like, hey, how about we just try something new? And if you don't like it, then you can buzz it afterwards. I'm like, all right. So that's kind of where I'm at now. So
nice.
who knows?
Yeah.
It might be buzzed next time around. Next time we have an episode here. Who knows? But
How long ago did you do this? Does it feel weird not having it?
it was 2-3 days ago.
Okay.
No, it doesn't feel weird because, like I said, I was over it. I'm just
Yeah.
I basically had a buzz cut before I grew the hair
Yeah.
out, and then I grew it out and didn't want to do anything with it, so then I just tied it up.
Yeah.
So now it's just even less work. I mean, kind of. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not having to tie it up and don't have it in my face all the time, and
Yeah. Yeah.
worked out a couple of times without it kind of getting in the way. So I mean, that was cool. So,
That I had let my hair grow out for a while, and I had my hair is pretty curly. Whenever I grew it out, I would just tie it up, kind of like you do, because I'm not, whatever. I always felt it was always jarring. I think whenever I wore it, if I wore it down, because it's like this, like Kenny G, like big and flowy, and people would make comments, and I don't, despite what having a camera in front of my face and talking to, YouTube and all that kind of stuff might lead you to believe, I really don't just love the attention, at least not like in my face at the moment when somebody's like, oh, look at your Kenny G hair or whatever,
same.
But I ended up, there were two factors that caused me to cut it. And it was one, it started, I guess, keeping it pulled back so much. And as I was getting older and stuff, like it started breaking or whatever, because I would sleep with it tied up. And so I started getting like these kind of like baby hairs around the front and stuff, a little bit more. And then also, my youngest daughter, I don't remember how old she was at the time, but she was old enough to draw pictures of her family. And anytime she would draw a picture of us, I would have this like hamburger turd on the side of my head or somewhere. It was always in the picture. You know what I mean? Like no matter where it would be on my head, I would have a bun in the picture. And I was like, well, I can't be part of my family. You know what I mean? I can't make every family photo. So so those were the two kind of primary factors for me in trimming it up. And I do remember that feeling of like, man, I've just lost like 4.5 pounds of hair and like my head felt light and stuff like that for a couple of days. And then you're just kind of like, all right, no. But you get that moment of like being the new kid at school where everybody notices that you got a haircut and whatever. And then
Yeah, so
all you
far,
can do is pray for that to just go away.
yeah, so far everyone that I've talked to, like other than, my girlfriend, my mom, like has like had the same reaction you've had where they don't say anything at first.
Like, does
And
he
then
like it?
yeah, exactly. And then like like halfway through the conversation, they're like, so you cut your hair, right? But
Right.
yeah, like everyone else has been just kind of like, okay, I think that's a thing. But yeah,
Right.
my girlfriend, my mom, they both they were super excited about it. So
Yeah, they always, yeah, and I don't know if your girlfriend's the same. I feel like my experience with females, albeit very limited, it's no matter what it is that you've got going on, your hair is long, they're gonna criticize it until it's short. When it's short, they're gonna criticize it until it's long. When it's like, you know what I mean? So,
no, yeah.
but
So mine was the opposite. Yeah,
okay,
she's been
yeah,
super supportive. Like when I was first growing it out, she was like, yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Which I could tell, she wasn't crazy about it, but she never like pressured me about it. And like
yeah,
this whole year, like I said, I've been kind of over it. So I've been asking her like, hey, like, what if I just, like shaved it all off? What if I just, did this? What if I did that? And she's just like, yeah, if that's what you want to do. And then finally, I didn't tell her I was doing this. I just kind of did it. And then, like her face lit up as soon as she saw me. So I was like, okay, I guess, yeah, she really, really was not a fan of the
yeah,
man bun. So
right, yeah. Well, I guess she didn't hold back or didn't hide
yeah.
her
And again,
disdain for the
she
bun.
still never said
But yeah,
she's never said anything
yeah,
bad about the man bun. She was just like, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's just different. So it's like, okay.
I feel like I feel like the bun is not different where you are, like in your neck of the woods. I feel like that's a pretty common
Colorado,
hair.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like, that's pretty
Yeah,
common.
the
But
only thing was my mom. She told me, she's like, yeah, like I feel like your hair before I kind of went with like the whole gym thing that you're doing. Like it made you look like, you knew what you were talking about. Now you look like more of an office worker. So I don't know if I'd be able to take that seriously when you're talking about gym stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I don't,
all right, well,
all right, I don't know how to
appreciate you
take
putting
that.
that in the
So
back of my mind while I'm
we'll
talking
see.
about gym stuff. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody. Some of you should let her know that the people who probably carry the most weight in the gym space in the home gym discussion don't have hair at all. The two
Right.
people who, the two people who probably have the biggest voice don't have hair at all. So,
Speaking of
um,
one of those, right? Coop. Coop
yeah,
was recently in the home gym world news cycle with his review of the Kleva Atlas attach, or I guess like the not just the
he,
Atlas attachment,
yeah,
just the rep Kleva
the rep
stuff.
Kleva stuff in general. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was another one of those things, man. It made its way into the Facebook group comments, and like, okay, so background for anybody that doesn't know, Coop recently reviewed. Well, let's back up to the Kleva, and Rep collaborated. Rep is now making Kleva branded products in the same style and everything, with a couple of little updates. Evidently, I don't know if I would have even known other than like the new logo and that kind of thing. But Coop recently did a review. In his review, evidently, he made a couple of misguided comments about the products. One of those was where he had mistaken the laser etch logo for a sticker. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe maybe to him, laser cutting is the creme de la gem and everything else is a sticker. I don't know. But I do think Coop should or probably does know the difference between a sticker and laser etching. But I don't know. Sometimes, man, and I haven't seen the product, so again, now I'm scared to talk about them. But don't cancel me, bro. I sometimes, man, if you put a sticker like underneath a clear coat or something like that, it can be deceiving. But I don't know. So anyway, he made a
Yeah,
comment
so
that it had a sticker on it, and we know that Coop has not only been very violently anti-sticker guy, big anti-sticker guy, he's also created a whole nother well, I don't know if he created, but he has exposed a whole nother subculture of anti-sticker people. I don't know. I think for me, it's like if it's a Rogue product and the Titan product looks identical to it, and the only difference between the two is a sticker, then I don't want a freaking sticker on it. But other than that, I don't know if I care. But some people do, and a lot of people do. But he also mentioned in there that the new rep version of like the Atlas bar itself was better because it has indexed handles. Evidently, the old one did not have indexed handles, and Coop says so. He has been told that the old one had a tendency to maybe the handles might spin sometimes or something. I don't know, but that was kind of the gist of what happened. Overarching gist of what kind of created this, right? And so Rep and Kleva both have responded or to that. That it wasn't a sticker, that there's no way that the old ones could have possibly been faulty or anything like that. That he gave some reasoning, logical reasoning as to why the handles would never have turned on the old ones and stuff like that. And then also offers that inaccurate information like that Coop had given can negatively impact smaller companies and could easily be avoided if maybe just, Coop were to take a little bit more time, or taking some more attention to detail before doing the reviews and that kind of a thing. And I guess this made its way to the Facebook group, which then led to comments just really character bashing Coop again, right? Just like the last time we saw this, I think it was the Where's Coop HomeGymCon debacle. But anyway, I thought it was a little unfair. Personally, I thought it was a little unfair. Well, in the comments section, they were being for sure. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion and stuff. And these guys, man, on social media, whether if it's a home gym podcast, it's a YouTube channel, it's whatever. I mean, you are an online personality. You know what I mean? Like you're sharing your thoughts and opinions, and you do try to give the best information that you can, because like I said, at the end of the day, your loyalty should be with those people that are lifting you up. It could have been easily avoidable, I'm sure. I mean, I think the sticker thing it could have been a sleight of tongue. I don't know, man. He said it a
so
few times, but
I think he definitely shouldn't have said it was a sticker, right? That was the big thing. But I think the distinction he was trying to make, and I actually have not watched the video, so this is my completely uninformed opinion. So maybe I shouldn't be giving an opinion on it, but because I think he was trying to say like laser cut, right? Like and
my
not laser
impression.
etched.
Well, it is laser etched. He said sticker. I think what he was saying is that it should have been laser cut. I think that's I think that's always been his
Thing, right?
That's the defining piece, right, of a good home gym equipment thing, is that it will be laser cut. And
With knurling.
Yes, laser cut with knurling. That's like he should have a T-shirt that says laser cut with knurling on it. He'd probably be able to retire from Pillar 4. But he said it was a sticker. He kind of said, I understand why they would use a sticker on it because, save some cost and things like that. He called it a sticker more than once.
Okay.
Whether or not he meant it as, a sticker versus not laser cut, he probably legitimately thought it was a sticker. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if,
and
but
I'm guessing,
go
I'm
ahead.
guessing the review was also, was it positive? Like I'm guessing he
It
was
was, yeah.
probably
The only thing in there that wasn't positive was the tricep handle, which I don't disagree. He said there are better options out there, and he offered a couple of them. One of them was American Barbell, which I think Rep also makes or sells. don't make anything sells, or they don't make the attachments or whatever. They sell the rotating one, just like the same one that American Barbells. I've got one hanging on my wall, but you can't see it because it's in there. But that was the only one that he was like, for the tricep triangle grip thing, it's fine, but there are better ones out there. And basically that was the only kind of negative thing that I heard. And then of course, he said that this one is better because these handles are indexed where the old one wasn't. And I've heard that they might spin. So whether or not you perceive that to be.
Yeah, they're not selling these handles anymore, right? Like on their own. They're only
Correct.
selling them through rep. So
that's correct.
Even if that, I mean, since that information like was false, it's not like harming future sales, right? Because he's saying that it was fixed.
I think, well, I want to speak for others, but when he says information such as this can negatively impact smaller companies and could be easily avoided if a little more time was taken to attention to detail, it's fair, right?
And
I mean, you should be, but it's also like, it's, I think where I struggled with it initially was like, man, it doesn't, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't matter what Coop says. It does matter when it's your business and that kind of a thing. It should be accurate or whatever, but the exposure that the small company gets from Coop doing a review of the product, like Rohrman strength handles, for example, Kleva, right? Brandon and Coop were talking about Kleva before Kleva was putting UHMW on their deadlift jacks. You know what I mean? Even if they're not giving it the most glowing review, the fact that they're bringing it to people's attention, that's the Coop effect, right? That's what companies would suck a dick to get Coop to talk about their products. Please tell people that I got stickers on my stuff. Just tell people that I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that you owe him something for that. I'm just saying, I think that I do think that there is value in acknowledging that like he's probably not negatively impacting your sales by talking about your product and inaccurately describing the laser etching as a sticker. I could be way off base here. I really could be. So there may very well be somebody out there that's like, you know what? I was about to buy this. Had my finger on the trigger, but fuck you, I'm not buying a sticker. You know what I mean? Like, I really wanted laser etching or laser cutting or something like that, but I absolutely refused to buy an otherwise perfect product has a sticker on it. There probably are people like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's probably a little bit more in the minority. But that being said, this whole debacle, if it probably ended up being a good thing for both Coop and Rep and Kleva, because now like people like that
they're in the comments
had no idea, right? Like that this video was even out. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They go watch the video and they're like, oh, I want to see this product. They click on the affiliate link and boom, Coop gets a cut. Rep and Kleva sell an extra unit.
Yes.
So I mean,
they're in the comments. It doesn't. It's like one of those things, and I've talked about. I think I talked about this here, right? Like Kyle, Kaizen DIY. Sometimes he does this stuff where I'm like, man, he is either like a social media genius, and he did that on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, or did he really just did he accident? Like, I'll give you an example. He did a review on a hack squat and he forgot to take the little base plate thing off. So in his review, he wasn't getting full ROM, and then somebody corrected him and he's now making a whole new piece of content. Now he got all the engagement from people correcting him for using it wrong. Now he's got this whole nother piece of content where he can correct it. And I don't know. I'm like, man, that is like the best accident. You know what I mean? Like, for his algorithm, for whatever. And it's like that kind of a thing. Like, so yes, absolutely did not negatively impact whatever. And maybe this was all a part of it. Maybe we're just freaking pawns in somebody else's genius idea to break the algorithm or something. You know what I mean? But I don't think so. I really don't. I also, I know the sentiment of what he's saying. Inaccurate information. He does say such as this, but I don't think this I think this is one of those situations where he might be a little bit too close to the product, right? Kind of like the Squat Max guy, a little bit too close to the product. I think outside looking in, I don't think that this particular inaccurate information is something that is really going to negatively impact smaller companies above and beyond what the positive impact of the Coop effect, Coop's outreach, just talking about your product in general. You know what I mean? Like getting a couple.
Right.
And again, I agree. If you're going to do a review, you owe it to the people that
The
you're
audience.
asking to use your link and stuff to give them attention to details. I absolutely agree with that. So
Yeah,
it's just one of those.
and that was a post that I saw actually was one that was talking about it wasn't necessarily even talking about the Kleva attachments. It was on the page, and it was I think it might have even been an anonymous post. Guy was saying like, has anyone else noticed that the quality of Coop's reviews have been going down significantly lately? Like even in his B-roll, he's wearing the exact same clothes, so you can tell he filmed everything in the same session, like as he is, when he's doing the main review. And then like I think like the whole comment section there, I don't know how big it got, but when I looked at it, and it was kind of like pretty divisive there. Like there was a lot of
Yeah,
defenders and a lot of
I
detractors
didn't.
as
I
well.
didn't. I didn't see a lot of defenders. I saw a lot of detractors and a lot of. I just. I didn't. I do. I really do try to make a conscious effort not to spend my time in that negative headspace. There's so much other things for me to get worked up about. I mean, and I'm not saying I don't do it. I do get caught up in it. That's why I try to stay out of it, man. But I feel like I live in a dark cloud, and I just don't go looking for more of it. And sometimes whenever I recognize it, I see it in the moment and I pull myself out of it. But I did see a lot of that negativity stuff, and yeah, the bash. When you just don't watch his stuff, man. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I don't watch a lot of it. It's not because I just hate it. It's just because he's not reviewing things that I'm interested in particularly. I watched this one because of the drama. You know what I mean? I was like, let me go see before I start sounding like an asshole. You know what I'm talking about? Let me go watch the video and see what what is it that that we're upset about
Right.
here. Is it
Yeah.
actually just calling it a sticker versus a whatever? And is there a bigger thing here? But it's
Yeah. And
also another thing that it brings up though is as a content creator, let's say you're talking about a smaller company, you're taking your time, right? Kleva, before they were with Rep and all that kind of stuff, to my knowledge, they didn't have like an affiliate program. And to my knowledge, Coop doesn't lend his, and others, I don't mean Coop specifically, but a lot of affiliates don't lend their platform to a lot of companies that don't have affiliation programs, even though that is probably more of a negative impact on smaller companies than whatever. I know that Coop's been criticized for that before. Like you don't do anything in smaller companies. You get criticized for a lot of things. I guess that's what happens when you're, you know, at the top of the food chain or whatever. But but so my question then is, or my opinion or my outlook here on this is it fair to say, you know what I mean? It makes you as a content creator, I'm trying to spit this out, sorry. As a content creator, it makes you have that same kind of like fear of talking about a small company or doing a good real review of a product from a small company. Because what if I do? What if I don't intend to negatively impact them, whether if it's accurate or inaccurate? It's just my opinion. These are my biases. This is how I feel about this particular product compared to the others on the market and stuff like that. And now I'm going to get, you know, am I going to get jumped on by other people who don't agree and that kind of stuff and looked at like, here I am not supporting the small guy or whatever it may
yeah.
be, right?
No, yeah,
And
yeah,
then
there's
and
a
how
good
much how
example.
much how much time and effort and energy and stuff do you want me to put into your free review that I'm giving you for absolutely no personal gain or whatever? You know what I mean? Like that's not me. I mean, but you know what I'm saying? For the
Yeah.
content creation, that is a part of it, right? Like I putting a lot of resources, my time and effort and energy, and some content creators pay a staff of people to do stuff for them, and a lot of times people don't even understand. You watch a 15-minute video. There are some people that spend 48 hours making that 15-minute video, 80 hours making that 15-minute video. and they pay a staff of people so that they can get it done in 80 hours. You know what I mean? To be able to do that. And I know in all of that, sometimes you can maybe say things that don't come out right or didn't, intend to inadvertently say something that is inaccurate, So it makes you wonder, like, it makes you feel like, man, I don't even want to, talk about these products or these companies or whatever, because now if I do, they're going to jump on me and say I'm negatively impacting their company when all I'm trying to do is, give them a boost, or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we've mentioned that before. Is it's like, if you're just relying on one person, regardless of who it is, like for as your end all be all source of information for like what to buy, then that's kind of your own fault. Like if like when stuff like this happens, like like at this point, you should be looking at multiple sources. And if you're unsure about something and the only reviews out there are, like Coop and Gluck, then it's like, okay, like maybe don't impulse buy this thing. Wait for some real people to get these products.
Ouch.
And
He said real people.
well, I mean, you know what I mean, like people who like people who like aren't doing this for a living, and like get some other like unbiased feedback from people who don't have like a financial tie here, one way or the other. And again, like I'm not, saying, like I'm not knocking anyone there. We all have our inherent biases, myself included. So that's just the approach I think most people should take with everything in general. Like don't rely on any influencers. Like use them as additional sources of information, right? And like with that, kind of going with like what you mentioned, like Coop and some of these other influencers, like talking about these smaller products. Like one thing that came to mind was I don't know if you follow the tech world at all, but Marquez Brownlee, he's like the biggest like tech reviewer on YouTube. Like he actually had something like less than a year ago where he came out and he did a review on a product. It was like a new AI product that just like it sucked. It was terrible. He was like completely honest about it. Like he tried to like have silver linings with it, but like ultimately was just like, yeah, like in this thing in its current form, I can't recommend it. And basically like his review just like tanked the entire company and they ended up going under, So it's
really?
like,
That's
yeah.
insane.
But the thing with that was like a lot of like people in the comment sections were all they were kind of bashing him about that. They're like, dude, like why were you overly harsh on this? Like these guys were like a tech startup, they're trying to do something good in the community, but the owners of that company, they actually came out and they were like saying like, no, yeah, we appreciate the honest feedback, like we don't want like any it would be a disservice if he was coming out to his audience and just trying to sell you guys something that wasn't completely there, but
It
yeah,
is
so
it
it's
is important. Like I want to make sure that I'm not underselling or I mean, I do think that accuracy is important. I mean, I hope that was specified whenever I was talking about that scenario. I mean, it's like anything else, especially whenever it's your product, your idea, your thing, right? Like you want to make sure that people that are talking about it are speaking about it with accuracy, that they're giving good information and things like that. It is also important when you have a platform and you have people that do rely on you for information and stuff to do the best that you can to make sure that you are providing good, accurate information. Even as minor or minuscule as it may seem to me, it might be a big deal to someone else, right? Like to me, a sticker is not that big of a deal. I have like bought stickers, you know what I mean, from plate snacks and stuff like that to put on my stuff. Like I am not, I don't care, you know what I mean? Like I actually kind of like it in some scenarios whenever I can pull off a sticker and not have to look at it or change the color of the sticker or something like that. But
yeah.
whatever,
And
but for some people, like,
while we're on confessions,
uh-oh.
I do have yeah. I don't think everything needs to be knurled. I'm just gonna go out there
Yeah,
and say it. Yeah, like
I'm with you. Somebody on one of my one of my smart arm posts, I think, somebody had posted on there like, hey, it mentioned to Prime to let's change all the knobs and handles to knurled. And I was like, no, 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 please, like, do not put that in their minds. Like,
Yeah,
this is, it's like,
especially when it drives up costs, it's like, bro,
it
like,
drives up costs for nothing. And it's like, we're at a place now. And I did remove some of the knurling from my HLP. Part of that was for just consistency with the rest of the stuff. Whenever I like bought the additional machines with all the green and stuff, I was like, I'm gonna own this green. You know what I mean? Like I can't. I got defeated. You know what I mean? Like by trying to degreen the machines. I actually had written like a poem about the green. But I no, I took some of I did leave the grips on there. As Neuro, those JD Gym
gym
Equipped
equipped.
makes, yeah, JD Gym Equipped makes the best knurling on the planet for aftermarket knurled grips. I don't know if you know that or not, but you do now. I just heard it from me. But anyway, I did leave those on the trolleys on the HLP. I think most of everything else I've gone back to. There's still some that's knurled still in there. But my point is, we've gotten to a place now where it's like, and I think it was my buddy Chip Fig Jam that kind of helped me see this. He was like, man, the lime green on the Prime machines, like, that is how, whenever I see a picture online or whatever, I know what it is. It's how I know it's not RIT fit or, whatever, all these, because every other company, because somehow we've all got painted with this big wide brush of everything has to be knurled and whatever, then otherwise we're going to scoff at it. So now every like Timu company has a knurled grip and a knurled knob and a whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I just, it's kind of like, it's like hex lights in a home gym. They're like, overplayed. I've got an entire garage full of all of it. I feel like now I'm at a place where I'm like, maybe we do something a little bit, you know, different here. I don't know, but I'm with you. Yeah, not everything has to be knurled. I like knurling. I like a little bit of knurling on stuff, but like,
Yeah,
if it's
if it
gonna,
for me, if it serves a purpose, like if you're gonna have your hands on it, like while you're using whatever it is, yeah, it probably will, the experience will probably be enhanced, with knurling. But like if and this is where I came to the realization was on safety squat bars. So the handles there, yeah, like you have your hands on them like pretty much the entirety of the lift. But I like with all of the 20 whatever, however many that I've used, been cycling back and forth over the course of, however many years, I never think about the knurling ever, like while I'm
right.
squatting, like,
Yes.
and yeah, it was there where I realized it's like, wow, like my favorite bars are the ones that are not knurled. And it's not because, I don't like the knurling. It's like, because it literally doesn't matter.
It was
And
the,
yeah,
it was the Kabuki Cadillac bar for me, where I had that the
mm,
original one. It's not knurled, and I was like
yeah,
using it, and then there was a Rogue version that right like a week or two after it. So the guy bought it and had like immediate remorse, and he sold it for like $300 or whatever. So I bought that one, and my logic was, if I ever sell this in the future, anybody that wants to buy it is going to want to buy the one with the knurled handles. Like, this is the way it's going to be from now on, and people are going to think the other one was bad. The old one, the original one, like the finish that they put on it is so like gritty. It didn't need, well, for one, it that a multi grip bar like that doesn't need knurling anyway. Like, you're not losing your grip. You're not like, there's not an
mm,
element of the grip there. That is all just vanity knurl, right? That's your knob. That's your knurled knob, type vanity knurling on those. And the same thing, like with that one, it was like, actually the original I like better just for the feel of it, even though it's not like it's not like it's digging into your calluses and it's going to be the
yeah,
difference
it
between a
was just a
failed
rough
lift or
powder
not.
coat.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not, knurling on a multi grip bar is not the difference of whether or not you're going to, you know, finish your lift or lose it or whatever. It really, a lot of, I mean, really, I don't even know if there are a lot of lifts other than like things like rows or deadlifts and things like that where the knurling is, yeah. I feel like it's one of those things that we've created in the home gym space. We get really knurling diva. I mean, I do like the feel of a good knurled bar. I mean, I have several and whatever, and I like the way they feel in my hand versus what I knew at the commercial gym. But I don't know that I subscribe to this idea that all things have to be knurled.
That being said, as I sip out of my
That's
knurled glass here. Vendetta strength, by the way, in case anyone's curious.
nice.
I forgot the exact name of the product, but yeah, this thing is pretty cool if you're a knurling person. So Coop.
Yeah. Drink
Coop's
that.
obviously listening to this because he
Cares.
he cares about us because we're competition. Anyway.
Right. Yeah. Nah. Anyway. All right, man. Well, I don't have much else to say. It's been a long time, hour and a half. I feel like we did this with fewer ums and uhs, and
I think so
all of the
too. Yeah.
technical difficulties were at the very beginning before we even started recording. So, I don't have anything else, man. Do you have anything else?
Nope. I think that's about it for now.
All right. Well, good episode. I'm gonna